We're back on the record in cause number 327-120. The case is styled State of Texas versus Charlie Jones. We have Mr. Jones, who is there present with his attorney, Mr. Ryan Matuska. Mr. Jones, before we took a break, Mr. Jones entered a plea of guilty, and I have before me the misdemeanor plea admonishment, which is State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Jones, there are a set of initials on the line that's titled, that's checked guilty. The initials are CJ. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
Okay, on the next page of the same document, page 3, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
There are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, did you sign a document out there that is titled Discovery Certification?
Sir.
Did you sign a document there that is titled Discovery Certification?
Oh, yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, prior to signing all of these documents that I just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr. Matuska?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Matuska, you have advised and counseled Mr. Jones. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. The terms of that agreement be 10 days jail. Defendant has 4 days credit towards that, and no fine.
Could I get a copy of the magistrate's order? Okay, Mr. Jones, the state is offering that you serve 10 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given 4 days credit. Now, Mr. Jones, the court cost in this case is $327. Mr. Jones, would you be able to pay the court cost of $327 before you were let out of jail?
Oh, sir.
Okay. Mr. Jones, I have an affidavit of indigency that you signed, and I'm going to go over this document with you. Mr. Jones,
Yes, sir.
I have before me this affidavit of indigency that apparently was signed on June the 8th of 2021. And Mr. Jones, is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and basically it states that you're transient, you have no income, and you have no expenses. Is that correct? And you are unemployed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, I see at one time you were employed as a dishwasher. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so but you're currently unemployed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Jones, the court is going to find that you are indigent. And because the court finds that you are indigent, you will not be required to pay the $327 court costs. And that's pursuant to Article 4215 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. So Mr. Jones, you'll be sentenced to 10 days in Jefferson County Jail with 4 days credit. And the court costs in this case is going to be waived because the court is making a finding that you're indigent pursuant to Article 4215, 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Mr. Jones, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Mr. Jones, please follow the bailiff, and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Is that getting out today?
You can, you'll be given credit for any time that you entitled to get by law. You have to talk to the personnel over at the jail should be able to inform you when you will be able to get out.
I mark Fontenot, Your Honor.
We're on the record in 3 cases. The first case is cause number 326326. The second case is cause number 326716. And the third case is cause number 326718. All 3 cases are styled the state of Texas versus Tamark T. Fontenot. Mr. Fontenot, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fontenot, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Fontenot, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Fontenot, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Fontenot?
I'm fine.
That's good. Mr. Fontenot, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about November 26th of 2019, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest detention. And that is in cause number 326326. Mr. Fontenot, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Fontenot, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Fontenot, I have another document before me. This document is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. This document, Mr. Fontenot, on page 2, I don't know if that's a signature or initial. Mr. Matuska, look like he signed where his signature is. I'll just send it back. We'll send it back to you so you can make that correction.